Good morning, everybody.
Did you get it, Jeff?
I got it here, so thanks. Got it. Yes.
All right, we'll call the Board of Works meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. To welcome members of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, taking just a period off of school, I think, or the rest of the day. Good to see you.
The rest of the day.
We'll be with you here shortly. So we'll start with the approval of the minutes from the April 8th Board of Works Public Safety meeting. I went through those and didn't see any issues.
I didn't either, Jeff didn't, so I'll motion we accept those minutes.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Lynn, no reports, oral communications.
No, I do not have anything.
Okay. I will note that there was a walk-in here this morning that we'll consider at the end of the agenda here as regards to the acceptance of our community crossings grant from INDOT, so we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's start. Seeing no unfinished business on the agenda, we'll go into new business, and we'll start with the travel requests. There appear to be 3 there. Clerk Treasurer and her deputy are going to the conference over in Fort Wayne. Lynn, I believe you are a co-chair of that conference.
I am.
Okay, so a lot of work, a lot of planning going on.
There is.
All right, and then Mary is going to a conference in Deer Valley. I was just kind of had a question on that. This regards building and plan the GPS training. There's just I think $500 listed on there for, looks like the event registration. I assume that the rest of the expenses will follow on a subsequent travel request as far as her lodging and travel and so forth. This one's in
Do you want to look at this?
Deer
Jerry?
Valley, Utah.
I'm assuming she might be instructing there and she might be getting some comp here.
She's going there for an asset management system. It's the training for that whole piece is going in, and so this is a registration fee for that.
So it's Elements, Excess.
The only thing that's listed is just the registration.
Oftentimes when employees are not used to doing the travel, they're just asking for permission to go. And then on the travel request itself, it says estimated cost. We know that this is a for sure cost when the bills actually come in. But right now, we just need permission for her to travel so that we can get it registered and everything.
I think there's an early deadline, and they
Yes,
also
yes.
mentioned that it'll fill up quick.
Correct, correct.
Because it does list that there is a discounted group rate as far as the lodging, so that will come afterwards, I
Right.
assume. Okay. Questions? Does that make sense?
No, makes sense. I'll move to approve the travel request as stated.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. So, item number 2, this involves the acceptance of a grant by the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. And if you would approach the podium and make your presentation, that'd be great. And introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Katie, this is Jacob, and this is Mason, and we're just here to request a approval for a $5,000 grant from the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority for our My Community, My Vision project.
Okay.
Yeah, so My Community, My Vision is basically a statewide effort that includes the youth of our communities to make downtown more attractive to us in the future when we try and come back after college and other stuff. And so we have been working throughout the whole school year, planning events and just brainstorming ideas for what we want to do. And now we have chosen an idea.
After exploring the feasibility of our ideas, we decided that most impactful thing we could do with our grant, we would commission a mural downtown Warsaw. The location of the mural would, if approved, would be on the north side of the 110 Craft Meadery building.
All right. Justin, have anything to add? I know the group has been working since September. They applied for the My Community, My Vision program and were successful, and as a result, this $5,000 will go towards the project. And obviously very excited and pleased that we were approved and awarded. Now it's to the point they've spent a lot of time with SPIA down at at Indianapolis, the AIM annual conference, and several other meetings. They've done some traveling. They've been working almost weekly through the process, trying to refine their ideas, and had come up with a lot of really great ideas. Some maybe a little more practical than others, but I think going through the process of really digging in and finding out what's really involved in doing some of these projects was a great exercise for them. And I'm very honored that this group is to the point where they're at now, again, as representatives of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. So I'm very pleased that they're here asking for approval of this $5,000 award from IHCDA. Justin Taylor, Assistant City Planner, has been working with the group, as well as Stephen Kaltrider from Zimmer Biomet have both been working with the group. And again, I'm very thankful for their leadership. Justin?
Yeah, I don't really have much to add to that other than what the students said, but it's been really exciting to see them work through some of these ideas and different things. You know, initially they started out wanting to do you know, a lot of different projects, but once the reality of what is involved in that, I don't want them to lose that vision and that creativity for what downtown could be or what Warsaw could be. But it's been exciting to see them evolve their ideas and not get disheartened by you know, not being able to do some of their initial ideas. So it's been really exciting to see them find something that they really like. So.
And through your and Stephen's leadership, you know, you guys didn't want to suppress any of their thoughts and ideas, which I was very happy to watch them work through all the different visions that they had, and again, taking kind of an idea stage to an actual planning stage and then implementation stage, I think again was the big part of the process, that they understand now what's involved, and they pulled it off. They're going to do a great project working with one of the businesses in town to provide a mural on the side of their building. And again, I couldn't be happier with what they're doing as representatives of the city of Warsaw. Questions?
No, I think it's great. Yeah, thanks again, Mayor, for taking the lead with this. And then I look at students from our school learning a lot about the process. Good.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the acceptance of the award?
So moved.
Second?
Any more comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
I love it when these kids have this.
All right,
This is,
thank you.
yeah, good job. So cool.
All right, Justin, you're still up with some outdoor seating requests.
Yeah, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but
Rua's first.
Oh, okay. So I have a picture of Rua. I did not include it in the packet, but I wanted to make sure you guys were able to see what. So right now we're looking at the arrangement they had last year. It'll be a similar layout for that outdoor seating. And the driving force behind reviewing these is, you know, a couple years ago we looked at whether or not private businesses could use extra sidewalk space to have outdoor seating. We wanted to make sure that was done in a safe manner. So anytime a business requests to do outdoor seating, it's taken before this board to make sure ADA guidelines are followed, to make sure public safety concerns are addressed. So anything after this meeting, if something comes up, we can address that through code enforcement. But preliminarily, getting the approval of the plans for those outdoor seating spaces is key, just to make sure, again, ADA and and public safety are addressed, so.
All right, and it appears that this layout is no different than it was last year.
Correct,
But we do require that annually these are reviewed.
yes.
Yes. Questions?
No.
Is there a motion to approve this arrangement for RUA?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And again, along the same lines, item number 4 at 110.
Correct. Yeah, 110, again, is looking at doing an outdoor seating space. We made some modifications to their layout last year. I believe a sign was obstructing the sidewalk a little bit, but, you know, they're aware of those issues, and we hope to not have any issues this year again with that space, but everything looks good as far as their proposed plan. So.
Okay.
There. I think that looks attractive down there. I'll move to accept the outdoor seating.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Justin, before we move on, I remember a few years ago, there was some discussion, and we were told that other cities will take a parking spot and actually have like a deck where people can sit and eat. Has there been any momentum from the business to have some of those portable for a month or two? Do you remember?
Parklets?
Yeah, parklets. We
Whatever
have,
they're, yeah, I just thought that might be the next step. Is there anything that they're, like a month that's here and then we can move it somewhere else for some of the?
we haven't had any businesses come forward with that request, but, you know, we're still open to that idea
Okay.
potentially. It's just, we gotta review the plans and make sure everything
Right.
kind of fits in some of the ordinances that we have, so.
Okay.
There's been, with the alleyway out here, we've actually utilized it. It wasn't really a parking space, it was the alleyway entrance. We put some planters and bike racks in. I think we're trying to modify that a little bit this year so as not to interfere with the parking in and out. I know parking is a critical issue for a lot of downtown businesses. I don't know how much that has impacted their requests to do something like that, but you know, it's obviously still an idea.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Justin, notice to proceed on the federally funded Lincoln Neighborhood Sidewalk Project.
Yeah, so this is another exciting project that we have coming down the pipeline. We have received our notice to proceed from NDOT. This is for an 80-20 grant that we received in 2018. So this will be the sidewalk project that will be built hopefully in 2022 for the Lincoln neighborhood. That's just to the west of Lincoln Elementary School, with the hope that it provides the students, you know, safer ways to access their school and get home safely as well. So again, the total amount for the preliminary engineering portion, which the contract's already been accepted by the Board of Works, this is just approving the notice to proceed. So the total contract is $173,000, and the match obviously will cover 80% of that. So, any questions on that?
So you'll remember this is one of 2 projects that we were awarded last year, that Anchorage Road being the first one and this being the second one, that building and planner now in that engineering and planning process of those projects. And again, this kind of gets the ball rolling now on Lincoln Street, or Lincoln School, excuse me.
Justin, on behalf of all the residents in my district, I just greatly appreciate your efforts. I think, you know, the state of Indiana looking our direction, Warsaw Schools staying on that lot. It's just a great thing for our neighborhood. I'll be home this afternoon and there will be countless people going to and from the school, strollers, bikes, and this is very neighborhood friendly. So thank you for your efforts here at the local level.
This was a really proactive push by our building and planning department with the new school going in, and was certainly high on their priority list. And I'm, again, thankful as well to both Justin and Jeremy for their work in getting this applied for, and then certainly being awarded. NDOT understood the importance of this as well. So these projects used to be called Safe Routes to School, even though that's not the name of this federal project, it's still pretty much safe routes to school for our kids.
Fewer students walking down the middle of Clark Street or Fort Wayne Street, which I've been around long enough to see that, so greatly appreciate it.
So is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Justin. Appreciate all your work on that. Jeremy, this is an agreement with Baker Tilly for arbitrage. You may explain that. It's a term that doesn't come up too often.
Yeah, in general, it's requirements that are put on us by the federal government regulating bond compliance. So Baker Tilly does our bond compliance. There are a number of bonds that we have these arbitrage compliance services on. The Buffalo Street is one of those projects that we have arbitrage compliance on. And this airport industrial park project will be another one that we have those requirements as part of just meeting the federal regulations. This will go before the redevelopment commission as well at their next redevelopment meeting. So it will be approved by the Board of Works and redevelopment commission.
Questions?
No, I'll move to approve the professional services agreement.
Second.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Again, this is requirement of the bonding process, so it's just something we have to do. Now let's move into some pay applications. You've got an engineering request from.
Yes, this is for the Market Street project, construction oversight or construction engineering. VS Engineering is the firm that we consulted with as part of our requirements for NDOT projects. We have to have a construction engineering inspector on the job site at all times. So this contract that you have was approved late last year for the upcoming construction. And this pay amount is in the amount of $5,057, and we'll submit for reimbursement to NDOT.
All right.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and pay app 1 for the airport industrial sewage project.
This is the first pay application from the contractor HRP. If you'll remember correctly, this is a redevelopment authority bond issue. So much like the Buffalo Street project, you will act on the redevelopment authority's behalf in approving payment applications that will then be submitted to Huntington Bank, which is holder of those funds from that bond issue for payments. You have the pay application you're approving in the payment affidavit that will get submitted to the bondholder, in this case Huntington National Bank, which will pay out those funds. The first application payment you have is $478,787.76 and was reviewed by myself and Wessler Engineering as was approved at the last redevelopment commission meeting. We did enter into a contract for Wessler to help us do the administration and oversight on this project, purely based on the sheer size and the amount of manpower that we have to do that. So they have looked over the payment application and have approved it, as have I. I'm recommending your approval, which we'll submit to the bank for payment.
So again, we're just getting started out there. It's a pretty significant chunk. Overall, it's what, $6 million project?
It is, and this, if you'll look at the pay application specifically with this, because this is the first pay application, we have demob and mobilization. So they're allowed to withdraw that first mobilization, and the mobilization charge, total mobilization charge, I believe on here is almost $300,000. So about 50% of that is what they're. So it's about 178,000 of this first payment is mobilization, just them showing up on site. So.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
I move to accept.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item 9 would be a project that's towards the end of its contract here. This is pay app 34 for Selge,
Yeah, and if
Buffalo
you,
Street project.
yes, and you should have, I don't have the pay application in front of me, but this is the same process we just talked about. Because this is a bond issue, Plankton National Bank is the holder of the bond funds. We submit them for payment as you are representing the redevelopment authority and the improvement of these pay applications. This will finish the final amount of money that's in that fund. There's $44,044.14 left in the bond account. There will probably be a few cents because it's earning interest that we'll have to figure out whether we submit another pay application or it has to get transferred out. I tried to get it as close to that last dollar amount as I can, but this will be the last payment application outside of a few cents here and there that are submitted to them for payment. The remainder of it will be paid out of the 472, which is the redevelopment allocation account, or the central TIF, and the remaining amount was 35,637.36. And I think there's just a little bit of retainage left on this project.
Yes, 45,658 on retainage. All right. Questions?
No, I'll move to approve the pay application.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Lynn, any special claims?
No special claims.
All right. Scott, this is a lease agreement with Grace College for the DARE graduation coming up next month.
Yes, sir. Just ask that the board approve the lease agreement. It's $1,800 has been waived, so it's just a donation on behalf of Grace College in support of the DARE program. This allows all of the DARE courses or classes, all the schools to participate in one graduation. I think this will be possibly the fourth time that we've done this.
Yeah, it's quite an event if you haven't been. So appreciate partnership with Grace College and their
Absolutely.
willingness to waive that fee. It's a big night for everybody, so.
Very nice.
Questions?
No. Move to approve?
I'll second.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, all set.
Thank you.
Stormwater, you're gonna take care of this, Brian?
Yes.
$30 vendor application fee for the Lakes and Streams Festival.
Yeah, this is one of the events we do every year to help meet our requirements for public education and outreach. This is a great event. It draws many people to it. Allows us the opportunity to reach out to a lot of the public.
I move to approve.
Okay,
Second?
further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. So we've got some pay applications. First is item 13,
This is-
SRF number 13 for the wastewater treatment plant expansion.
Yeah, this is for the bid phase services and then helping get some of the permits that were required for the project. That's what this pay app is for.
So these are engineering and administrative type requirements.
Correct.
Cost of $3,240. Any questions?
No, move to approve the pay app.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. And again, here's some, the next item is also for engineering services for construction.
Yeah, this is your construction administration, reviewing submittals, approvals, and then the RPR work, the oversight of the construction project.
So obviously they're doing their inspection as well.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
part of that's the RPR where they're inspecting the work as it's being done and.
And is this individual on site full-time?
Yes, there's actually 1.5 individuals assigned to this project. So there's J.E. Dials, his name, he is there every day, and then another individual's there 2 to 3 days a week.
And again, this is all part of SRF funding for this project, be the revenue source for this.
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. And then item 15 is $1,100. I believe these are federal requirements
Yeah, this is
for
for
the
the
SRF
NV
process.
Yeah, this is for the NV grant. So part of having the SRF loan, you have to certify payrolls, make sure they're following the Davis-Bacon wage requirements. And this company, Nanette is her name, takes care of that for us. Make sure we have all the documentations when FRF does an audit, that we have everything we need for the audit.
All right, questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Again, just side note with the SRF funding, there are, as with a lot of grants, there's federal requirements that is just part of the administration of these grants that we've obviously taken into account and are now just executing those. So, all right, lane inliner, now back to our collection system improvements. Excuse me.
Yes, this is for the small diameter. This is for a couple spot repairs that needed done on a couple sewer lines prior to being able to line it. So that's what this pay app is for. We discontinued doing these spot repairs last fall when the asphalt plants closed, and so now they've reopened and we've resumed this project.
Move to approve.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Okay. All right. Item 17, now out to the new plant expansion. This is a change order from Kokosing, who is our contractor for the plant expansion.
Yes, this was, there's I believe three items on this, 4 items on this change order. The first one was for additional site clearing. One of the areas where they're clearing out for a building, and then our digester system still had a pocket of trees that we wanted taken down just so we could maintain the area easier, and we didn't have all the leaves getting into the system. And then in addition to that, there's some regrading work that needed to be done once the trees were removed so we can maintain it. And there was a ditch that ran between 2 drives that was supposed to be an open ditch, and we wanted a pipe put in there, and that filled in, so there wasn't an open ditch between those 2 drives. And then the fourth item is a gas line reroute. It was a little off from where it was anticipated to be, and it's in the way of them driving some sheet pilings they need to put in to dig out for our grit system.
Good idea. All right. So again, these were somewhat unanticipated issues that result in these change orders. Okay, questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
All right,
Second.
all right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. All right, claims docket. Lynn, you have presented that. I assume you all had the opportunity to go through that. Any issues or questions, items of note?
I move to accept.
Second?
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Any other items to come before the council? Oh, yes, we do have one. Jeff's walk-in. And again, this would be the Community Crossings grant the city was awarded, matching grant that I'll let Jeff discuss.
This is the Community Crossing Grant Agreement, and this is just us saying that we will work with NDOT in this process, and we'll do our share that we're supposed to do with the money. We received $251,416.25 as the grant that we received for this. This is work to be completed on North Point Drive between Husky Trail and Mariners, which will involve the reconstruction of the roadway, new curbs, drainage, and sidewalks. So this will start that process in around 8 to 10 weeks we should then receive our funding for that project. And we are hoping to go out to bid in the middle of May for that project.
Again, another example of department head going after money that is certainly available and has been awarded now, but you know, these things just don't happen. They have to be applied for, and those projects have to be ready to go. And certainly with those funds available, I know we've taken advantage of community crossings. This is our third or fourth award. Again, that project, that funding source was established by the state legislature about two years ago as an adjunct to the increase in road funding for local roads and streets and MVH fund. So again, thank you for all the work you've done on that and keeping projects ready to go and not only applying for, but being successful in acquiring a 50% match on our funds, our city taxpayer funds. So, all right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Excuse me. Anyone else? Chief?
It's been out publicly that there's been 4 arrests made on the Arnold situation that we had back in January. I just wanted to thank the Board of Works. This started with the police department, a patrol officer noticing something out of the norm. His due diligence to get out and check the building, he could have drove right on by and not checked it. Because he did, it caught a EPA situation that we were able to help with EPA's help and with the state's help. But not only that, the detectives working afterwards, being in there in the cold, setting up cameras, trying to find out what was going on. Street department was able to bring us dirt and to make earthen berms to be able to get into the building with equipment. Wastewater was able to use their cameras to be able to look at 2 outlets that were going away from the property that we had huge concern over, so that our city engineer could decide what we could do to block them all. So this was a situation where your departments all worked together as an emergency action plan to bring things together to help mitigate this problem. It couldn't have just been done by the fire department. If it wasn't for the other departments being involved, we would have had a lot more to do. So from the fire service, we want to thank the Board of Works for the support that they do for our department heads, and just another example of a good team coming together to make things work. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Thank you.
Dave and I would both like to say we like the Monday morning format.
Duly noted.
I second that motion.
Yeah, I'm not.
Why?
Yeah, why? Why?